CompLexity's turn to pick.
The sack.
Slada.
Dire team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Clockwork.
CompLexity's turn to ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. CompLexity's turn to ban. Dire team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. CompLexity's turn to pick. Dire team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. CompLexity's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Weaver.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Storm Spirit!
Complexity's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Crystal Maiden.
Complexity's turn to pick. Complexity's turn to pick. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Heróis que podem dar muito trabalho para um Tinker. Agora é a opção para eles, saber se eles querem tentar ali um outplay.
Reserve time. 5 seconds remaining. Turn to pick.
Mirana.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ya está, vamos a dar inicio a esta primera partida.
A mí me parece Victor. Victor Baris.
Good luck, Jail. O WanteD mostrou que estava preparado para Digital Chaos, agora.
Está muy por debajo del promedio, 300 kills.
Player skill a little bit here. CompLexity, a team that have been boot camping now for quite a while. I mean, how would you fare with their player skill when you go up against a team like WanteD, who you have Chessie, who has unfortunately been plagued with injuries in the past, has found himself on teams like Alliance, but has been a high MMR, high-profile player for quite a while. QO's brash, but, you know, they don't have as much chemistry as a team like CompLexity should have. So where do you balance the power between a team that has a lot of chemistry working together, they have a chef even, and then a team that has just so much talent and is just, you know, got all that raw power?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we were talking just a few days ago before the match versus Digital Chaos, I would say that WanteD would theoretically have a lot of chemistry issues. They would have a lot of problems coordinating. PVD would have a trouble keeping the reins on everybody and all these unique talents and their unique playstyles. But we got to see what they can do and how they can work together against DC in their last 2 games. And it was extremely impressive to the point that I actually think that this team is already really well in sync.
Did you hear, though, last night they lost their first round of Battle Cup?
Yeah, I watched that, dude. They had Jo drafting it, and they were going for a mid-Elder Titan that turned into a weird 4-position support. I don't know, Pudge, ET, support duo. I don't think that's a Battle Cup victory.
I heard them say something that they may have gone against stream snipers, but those sound like excuses to me. But no, whatever the case may be.
What I heard is that you should never let QO control the draft at all, because he's recommending mid-ETs and Aghanims gyrocopters and nonsense.
Gets him shaking off that loss, and it makes him more thirsty for a win today. Maybe that's the mentality in the long run for this.
Sure.
Let's see how the lanes do continue to progress. It looks like Z-Freak is not heading up to the top lane. He's taking his business down south, it would appear. So leaving the matchup of Monkeys just kind of going toe-to-toe with the Lone Druid, or at least he may think for now, because nearby there is PPD and Jo just kind of working with the jungle camp. So not as we anticipated here, that they were going to put a lot of pressure on the lone druid.
Yeah. I felt that that was actually the strongest move that CompLexity could make if they wanted to try to shut down Chessie early, but obviously they don't really consider that a high priority. They're just going to focus on their other lanes. So you're going to see Z-Freak more so just doing a little bit of jungle play and then moving to roam onto QO before level 6. If they can kill off the Storm once or twice before he gets 6, then it actually could be worth it to go for this kind of more defensive posture. But at the same time, that means PPD is going to play in the jungle, and he's going to be able to be very active on the lane.
Monkeys here, happy to go up in arms here. The classic Abaddon 1 versus 3. Scary to go against Monkeys on this kind of a hero, because he will fiend this hero even in his pubs, let's say. He knows the limitations of how far he can go, how much he can harass that support before he puts himself in the danger zone. And you don't always want to be testing the limitations of someone who has that.
Yeah, not going for the X-Mike build of like getting the passive and just maxing his Aphotic Shield. This gives him some potential to suicide if shit really hits the fan, but all in all, I do think that he's going to be fine until the Lone Druid hits level 5. Once the Entangling Claws comes out, he can only dispel one of 2 abilities, either the Frostbite or the Entangle, and the other one should kill him off.
Looks like Z-Freak, he did what we have been seeing Z-Freak and Rose of MP do quite a bit. They went to the bottom lane, they did that side pull camp towards the tower, he got himself the level, and now he's going to be trying to join up here with Monkeys, who could certainly use his assistance. Now under a serious amount of pressure, an overcharged Lone Druid, Bear and Crystal Maiden all on his tail right there. Z-Freak now pushing on forward a bit, but obviously not any good openings there to set up a crush play.
And so this was kind of what I was expecting originally. It turns out that Z-Freak just wanted to do a little bit of pulling to the south of the Radiant Jungle under the tower to get his free level 2.
Yeah.
And that gives a little bit more experience to the Abaddon as well, because CM isn't really that scary level 1. Level 2 has a lot more gank potential, has a lot more disable potential, but early on, not really that threatening. So they split up the experience, that they profit more from it, and now Z-Freak gets to be more involved up top.
In the meantime, bottom lane, we saw Swindles go on a pretty deep adventure there. It looks like he went all the way down to block out the side pole camp. So no future shenanigans would be available there to Boris, I guess, if he wanted to try to pull the wave back in his favor. Swindle trying to take the most of kind of being the bully in this lane and not allowing the Clockwork to get too much. He is level 3, though, so he's still able to kind of creep in there and make his business happen.
Yeah, so I don't really see Swindle doing too much in terms of zoning on the Clockwork at this stage, but he is going to be able to get a lot of pulling off and get some experience for himself. So it really seems like CompLexity's early game plan is just to develop every one of their heroes, get a little bit of jungle play on Z-Freak and Swindle Melons, and across the board they're going to be hitting some pretty good level 5, level 6 timings where they're going to be able to work together as a team. Now, this does also give some space to Chessie and to QO, which can create problems later on.
Uh-oh. Commitment of the Frostbite onto Z-Freak. He gets the shield for Monkeys. He's going to be fine. Has to commit the crush, though, and we'll be able to make it out.
And the beauty of the 7.0 offlane, you take a lot of damage, you just shrine it up, and you're right back. Full mana, full health, ready to operate again. So
hey, man, you know, that means more fights, more getting back in the action, right?
Definitely. But it also, allows you to be so much more aggressive. No more, like, from the beginning of the game, you know that you're going Iron Talon and you're just jungling and not ever seeing an enemy hero for the first 10 minutes of the game. You definitely have a lot more incentives to stay on the lane in this patch. And, of course, when you get 2 people to take the benefit of the shrine, then you're just being able to add in the incentive.
Man, let's touch base now. We haven't been able to look at this mid lane a whole lot, but it's looking pretty sweet at the moment for QO, as we see they're able to grab the correct rune, or at least go to the correct spot to get the illusion rune now. He's currently up on Cancel, about 4 CS. Cancel, though, looking to take a better position. He's going, pretty heavy into the Starstorm, so who knows? You get that connection with the arrow, get that set up, maybe need that +1, a nearby Swindle. You could get something going. Ooh, heavy damage on the Bear here. They have to commit the Savage Roar. They want the money. Nice snipe right there. It's going to be Monkeys who takes it down and will pocket the 300 extra pieces of gold.
Very high value. That's he's going to turn to Bassi for now, going in for the wand next, and Phase Boots as well. Just a little bit of extra gold, but for an offlaner, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like 2 full waves of CS. That is just a huge boon for him. And Chessie, not a big deal for him. He just resummons it, and he's probably not going to die again. But just that aspect of getting the freebie for Monkeys, he's going to be able to get his early tier 1 items very, very shortly.
Yeah, which it seems he's going to go right for the Phase Boots. And once his level 6 comes together, this guy is going to be getting in your face, and it looks like he'll be able to get in your face fast. He'll be able to bring a punch with it. And could be unfortunate, especially for these supports who've got a little out of position here. Let's touch base with them. Level 3 on JO, level 4 on PPD. Right now kind of working as a tag team as they walk their way through the jungle here. And now even smoke up. Looks like eyes towards the mid lane on spotting out maybe where Cancel is. Cancel's on his own adventure though, heading towards the bottom.
Yeah, but if you do get that gank off and there is an enemy hero there, you're able to ball lightning past them, get the tether slow on top of it, and then that gives enough time for the CM to get in position. So really good opportunity. We'll see if they can find it here on bottom lane as there's a smoke going the other way. Yeah, CompLexity looking for a setup themselves onto Boris, the Clockwork here in the bottom lane. Just behind them a few yards is WanteD. Looking for their own setup, but it looks like they may just miss each other as CompLexity look to make their move. Swindle goes for the stun. It's going to connect. Cancel looking to roll in after, just goes in for the dive, for the starfall, and it's going to be good enough. One right click should clean up the job. Cole will strike and get it done. So, I mean, that's a really good movement from them. Obviously, they weren't able to get an arrow set up, but still just being able to go in hard with the nukes from Cancel. But a mid-game rotation, you're going to be able to spell First Blood on an offlaner 9 out of 10 times when you get that kind of smoke movement. In the meantime, WanteD got a couple good things themselves. They got an Observer Ward via the smoke. I would really be surprised if it ever got dewarded. And, of course, they made the move when Chessie was already like level 5, level 6, so he doesn't really lose out too much on the top lane. He's still in the top 3 of CS. So, nice First Blood play for CompLexity, but I'm expecting more from them because soon WanteD is going to start snowballing very quickly. Yeah. So, as I check the top lane, Chessie's not feeling so comfortable now. Monkeys is beginning to swell up a bit. He's one creep away from getting that level 6, and attention is certainly being drawn this way. QO now stepping away for the mid lane. He's level 7. He's walking up to the top lane, and he sees Z-Freak here. Z-Freak trying to use the sprint to run on out. QO has eyes for Monkeys now. Quickly going to get the borrow type popped off. And now the Moonlight Shadow going to be coming out from Cancel as they step back and readjust. JO joins their side. Now it seems to be the end of this one. Z-Freak will slip out the other direction as they will not have the way to chase or detect them. Yeah, a little impoverished from the WanteD supports. They don't have an answer to the Moonlight Shadow at this point in time, but I expect every Moonlight from this point forward should have at least one sentry involved in the process. And despite the fact that QO was just here, Z-Freak is getting very aggressive. They wanted that bounty rune so bad. Cancel set the preemptive arrow just in case someone was there guarding it. No one was. Z-Freak will be able to nab it. So I guess for them and their little adventure, it was all worth it. Gotta say, though, Moo is doing some work here on bottom. I mean, he is actually up to 59 and 19 in terms of CS. Force is 14 and 3. Like I said, I don't think Swindles offers much in terms of kill potential, but obviously all the pulling really hurt Clockwork's early progression because Moo has been able to just roll over him. Just a Blightstone, Treads, and Aquila, and he's able to... Okay, rushing in, top lane, Z-Freak. It gets the crush onto the bear, but that will be the end of it. And I echo your feelings here for Moo. It's feeling like Moo just really wants to win this series. Like, he really wants to make a point. This is a guy who's already have a very interesting history from his recent teams here, and he's 63 and 20 on a Weaver. This is incredible right now in the bottom lane. I don't know. We're thinking that WanteD's going to cream up in the late game. They're going to have a significant lone druid, but I'm curious to see what kind of power spike Moo's going to bring with his Weaver. Yeah, I mean, if it was just a strict 1v1, I thought there was a lot of potential for the Clockwork just to go maybe like phase boots and trade very evenly. Like I said, 4-man shield phase, and you can do a lot of work in that lane. But Boris is going for his kind of more traditional build-up where he just wants to get tanky, wants to get sustainable, and wants to keep getting experience so that he can get the hookshot online as fast as possible and hopefully start making plays with it. He needs to TP top if they're going to win this fight. Swindle spots out where PPD is, dishes out the stun, but they already had the vision exactly what was happening with CompLexity side, and now they're going to jump on forward. They get the takedown of the Lesh, but that may be all. CompLexity are able to make the distance to avoid further confrontation here. This is a full 5-man commitment from WanteD in the top lane. Yep, they rotate the Clockwork over. That means Moo's going to get a lot of damage on this tower, maybe even just finish it off naturally. But if that fight had kept going, Boris would have been there with a really good hook shot to enable them to essentially take like a 3 for 0 in that exchange. So WanteD commit a lot. They only get a little, and instead it's going to be Moo that profits the most with the tier 1 falling bot. Yep. He is a bit hesitant to try to get the commitment here. JO's nearby. He wants to get it done, and he will. Clockwork. Oh, JO! Clockwork's nearby. There's the time lapse. They are going to get the finish here. Boris is waiting for the hook shot. Only going to connect onto the range creep here. Man. Goes for the cogs. It's going to bump Moo away, and he says, see you later. Sakuchi's out from trouble. Up and above. More action to break out. Z-Freak crushing onto PPD as Melons does go down.
Z-Freak wants revenge here for his fallen brother. Jesse shows up, though, gets off the Savage Roar. Moo, in the meantime, gets a pickup on the other side of the globe, and it looks like Z-Freak should be able to make it away.
Yeah, Cancel just drops his full spell arsenal on him, drops QO down to about 20%, and then Moo just comes in on the side and pokes him down. So just a really good movement from Moo, being able to pick up a tier 1 and 2 kills in a very short span of time. He's going to be able to explode this game. He's going for the Dragonlance next. He's going to fight PPD.
Yes, he is. Moves right in, gets him with the Bug Swarm. Jayo's going to have to be there to help out, and that's the moment that Moo realizes that he could be going in over his head. Sakuchi's a bit, tries to shake off Chessie. Chessie's on chase here. That bear gets a good root on the first hit. Could be trouble. Moo's going to be able to Sakuchi, and Monkeys was nearby just in case. Man, this game starts slow pace, but man, it got tense real fast.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just a really good setup from Complexity where they were able to kind of drag out this top lane, put out some pressure here and there. You saw that the CM and the IO did not get as much free farm as they wanted. And in the meantime, you see this Weaver just start to explode in his safe lane.
Z-Freak is just eyeballing Jayo, trying to get a hold of him here, not able to get close enough. Further Crush finds himself in trouble as he's going to be rooted up. He is nearly dead. Moonlight Shadow is there. PPD within the trees trying to go for the ulti. Gets off some good damage, but will eventually be brought down from Melons himself. Jayo hiding within the trees, able to sidestep Melons, tethers up to Chessie, and they should be able to easily put Melons into a hurt locker. He's going to get dropped down and below. A chase is on for Monkeys here. Boris, 4 charges on his wand, gets close enough for the battery assault, and he's going to be able to get the cogs off now. Z-Freak's nearby. Gets in with the crush. The deny is there for Monkeys, though, but it's another takedown. A promising fight from WanteD.
Yeah, nice little use of there. It's only 75 self-damage on the level 1 miscoil, but that can still get you a lot of suicides if you can see the damage coming. So nice little play there. But yeah, across the board, just Complexity is really starting to ramp up the aggression. They know they can tower dive really well. That's almost what their heroes are designed for, just getting aggressive. And this Moonlight Shadow, again, is paying dividends because right now, the underfarm supports of WanteD are just trying to catch the Weaver, dropping sentry after sentry against him, and it turns out that the real threat, this Moonlight, is allowing them to win every single exchange. So right now it's only 4-3, but it's been a lot of hot and heavy action underneath towers, and I expect some more heavy pressure coming in from Complexity.
Moves in. Heeding to your call of pressure onto Jayo here and now, who jumps back for QO, tries to hide, but not going to be able to. A jump in, though, and amount of pressure is going to blow up Moo before he can get out with any sort of time lapse there. Boris could be next to get dropped. Good connection on the stun. Makes it a 2-for-2 trade. Complexity trying to get out of this. QO, not too much mana to make chase, and they'll have to let that one slide. Another trade of blows both ways, but it's WanteD who get the better end of the gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a very key kill onto the Weaver there, and actually QO gets over 600 gold from that kill alone.
Relocate in from Jayo, joining QO, and both of them will be able to easily tag team and take down Z-Freak. So, good solid pick-off. It delays him from that Blink Dagger. Yeah.
In the meantime, Monkeys forever with his classic Helm the Dominator.
Sorry, PPD looked like he ate an arrow. We see the back end of it as Cancel rolls in and just knocks him down.
Brutal. But they do get a tower out of it here. Monkey is going to be pressuring with his Dominator creep here, and he's going to be able to just finish that off, no problem. Going back for the aura, like I said, a pretty high priority thing for a core Abaddon. And now, yeah, he'll go for like a Vladimir's Offering or some progression therein.
How about QO here? Looks like early point booster, nothing like straight to the Orchid, straight to the Bloodstone for him, it seems.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised since I thought the Orchid would create a lot of value this game, but Bloodstone first, it's still, you can still always go back for the Orchid at any point in time.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to be seeing like a Manta or BKB too early on the Weaver. He'll go for the Lincolns.
Boris has spotted out Cancel here, but Boris is pretty far from his team, and Complexity are nearby, so they'll be able to quickly clean out the little robot. Jumping on through, QO, long grab and pull back onto Cancel right now. The Moonlight Shadow is out. Do they have the detection for it? Melons is going to get the blast takedown of Swindle. Can he make it out? Swindle is going to be going down. QO on the other end. Going to get shot apart, it looks like, from Moo. A big, promising fight for Complexity as they also take the bear. 4 going to get dropped, only Chessie to survive. Complexity just in the better place at the better time.
Right now, WanteD just want to spread the map out as hard as possible because they cannot take a fight. They can pick off really well, but as far as fights, they need so much more farm on the Lone Druid to make that happen. As for right now, there's the negative armor synergy between the Weaver and the Slardar. There's the chain stunning potential between the Slardar and the Leshrac. Like, they've got so much potential to 5-ban on the side of Complexity.
Jump in Boris onto Z-Freak here. Holds him in his place for now, and then they show up between Chessie and Jo, and they're going to be able to get the burst on the Slaughter, but they could end up losing some lives themselves. Jo nearby, 4 more seconds, he'll be able to make it out. He should leave Chessie behind, and it looks like he will. Here comes WanteD now. On a chase, up and over. It looks like Storm Spirit could find himself in trouble as he eats the stun, jumps out, jumps back in, gets the pull. Oh, just barely dodges the arrow coming in from Cancel and tries to make it out to safety. He's trying to get the bugs off in time. Can he do it? Woo! Barely lives with 20 life. He'll try to jump and make it away, but Monkey's looking to snipe him. Got him! Miss Coil finishes him off. Makes it even a better fight for Cole.
That poor Adamanta Storm Spirit. Like, he got stunned right when he finished the TP. Perfect timing from Swindles, and what it meant is that he was purely on the defensive, only using his mana for Ball Lightning for the rest of the fight. So QO ends up going down, and CompLexity keep themselves in forward momentum. They need all the momentum they can get as Chessie gets more and more farm, but right now, I mean, they've got Vladimir's Dominator on the Abaddon. They've got the Blink coming up very shortly on Z-Freak. These are the tools CompLexity needs to close out the game.
And Moo is still on the prowl, man. Mid lane, he moves in after a bug swarm, starts taking it to Boris here. Jo is going to be forced to step in and help out, but he has his work cut out for him even then. But Moo will have mercy this day, pull off and get back to work right now. And a Lincoln Sphere is going to be next set up. Yeah. You know, led in early with the Dragon Lance, so he got the trusty stats and the extra range to work with. Now we'll have even more stats, more defense. Bottom lane, long jump from QO to make a move on his Swindle. Swindle pops everything he got, and he's taking it to QO himself, and they're going to possibly be able to burst him down. He gets the jump, and they get the escape back home. But QO may have learned a valuable lesson there.
He's learning very quickly how squishy he can be, and obviously the Bloodstone will help a lot with that, where he can actually survive throughout the fights. But at least for right now, he's taken way too much damage at the beginning of the fights, and while Storm Spirit is more of a front-loaded burst damage dealer, right now he's on the receiving end of that, and it's pretty painful. So he has to be a lot more careful about how he positions himself in the next few fights, and obviously, CompLexity, they're just going to keep deathballing. They're just going to be pushing really hard. The Lincoln's progressing rapidly for the Weaver, and then he can start going into more damage like the Desolator. In the meantime, Agadin's has been finished on the Mirana cancel, finishing that one up, and Z-Freak has his dagger, so.
This is, yeah, I mean, CompLexity look like they're going to be even scarier than they were before. I would fear for WanteD at this point moving forward. CompLexity, time to move in. Let's get some wards down. Roche is standing. I mean, you have the Slaughter after all. It shouldn't be too much trouble, and you don't really fear a fight. I guess there is the fear of the Storm Spirit and that whole ordeal when you're going into the Roche pit, but it's obvious that pressure is going to be on WanteD to either play it slow and play the farming game or just avoid trouble. Boris, though, is going to find himself in a bit of trouble here. Z-Freak is stalking him at the moment. Then will decide to make his move. Leads in with the crush. There's the bug swarm. No arrow, but snow needed.
Yeah. If he goes for the TP, maybe the arrow helps out, but otherwise they got the clear kill just from the invisible initiation of the Slaughter from the depths. But yeah, Kyo trying just desperately to finish up his Bloodstone from that point. He should be able to at least build some momentum and allow his team to close out the fight. Even if he does go down, he gets that really nice AoE heal and just allows the Lone Druid to keep whacking away. Speaking of Chessie, he's almost got the Maelstrom up. This is when the Lone Druid starts really finding his own swing of things. They lose their Tier 2 tower. He's got to come online quickly. He's got 1 talent and plus 200 attack range. He's got the Maelstrom. He's got the tools, but they need to create a safe space for him to fight.
I don't know what kind of space he's going to be able to get, because at this point in time, CompLexity are just 1 more Tier 2 away from taking down the shrines and pretty much just taking the whole map, where you see WanteD at that point in time when they're just crowded indoors and the limited farm is just kind of gobbled up by the Lone Druid, if anything is available at all. He's got a bit now, but I just fear it's too little too late, Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, for example, this Tier 2 tower is not going to be defendable at all from WanteD's strategy. They can try to prevent any extra greed coming out from CompLexity by closing in with, you know, relocate and jumps from the storm, but if they just put 5 heroes on 1 tower, there's nothing really WanteD can do at this stage for the Tier 2s. So Tier 2 will fall, Shrine will fall next, and that opens up the entire map for CompLexity.
Gotta give props to CompLexity, man. The well-executed draft. Great laning phase, you know, recognizing what they needed to do. Z-Freak took the time to just be a bit selfish at the start of the game and get to that level 2. Monkeys avoided a lot of trouble in what could have been a pretty tough matchup, the Abaddon 1 versus 3, but you can't help but question a bit of what WanteD game plan was going to be like in the early to mid game. and what they were kind of hoping to get done. We didn't get to see that moment of QO kind of snowballing. The Clockwork was there as like a response unit, but never could be like really initiator for the team. Like windows of opportunities, unfortunately, just missed because of Cole's success.
Yeah, I mean, 3 deaths on QO at this stage is actually quite surprising, since none of those happened before Ball Lightning came out. But the Roshan coming through very quickly here. One great tool for that is the Diabolic Edict and, of course, the amp damage. But Arrow will snag PPD, and that's going to hurt in terms of their potential to jump
They
in.
know someone's there. They know something's up. They're jumping from QO, and he gets it. We don't see much from him all game, but he gets something done now, and WanteD look to try to take the game back on the back of that if they can. QO in the midst of it, taking it right to Monkeys, but Monkeys has his borrowed time and is able to shrug it off. Chessie goes in on Swindle Melons, who is going to be able to back away. QO still holds that Aegis, and he is trying to make it out. Pops the mana off, but Z-Freak is on the chase. He has a crush. He will dish it out, but unfortunately, oh, the arrow is just off the mark, and they're not going to be able to get it. Okay, WanteD, get the Aegis, get themselves back inside, and breathe new life into this game.
Yeah, it does suck to lose those 3 heroes for nothing,
Yeah.
but they get the snatch, and that is so important because right now, WanteD, their best chance of bringing this game back is defending on the high ground, and it's so much harder to do that against an Aegis Weaver, just poking and prodding from range at your barracks. You don't have really great tools to initiate on him unless you fully commit. But now that they don't have to worry about the Aegis, only you have to worry about the time lapse of that Weaver, and that definitely makes it more possible for them to bring this back. So they do lose 3, but snatching the Aegis, I think, is the greater victory.
Let's see, though. I'm sure for Complexity side, they're kind of like, don't worry about it. It's fine. We're already far enough ahead where we can win the fights necessary here. QO just destroys Swindle out there on the side, and Complexity already go on the run back. But Boris makes his move in, gets the catch onto Zach, locks him within the cogs, and there goes the ulti for PPD. Everything they want to get the finish on Slaughter are WanteD now feeling themselves. Moving in.
Oh,
Oh, Monkeys! His team gets canceled for the battery assault. Moving in for Boris. He's not going to be able to make it out, and now Borrowed Time's going to get pumped. He gets surrounded, and he is going to be taken down. So convenient there for WanteD. Oh, man.
Yeah, I will say that was a little luck. Like, a lot of these plays are really good movement from Boris as well as all of WanteD, but that was just very fortunate that he found the Abaddon right in the right position. But all the same, when you talk about this high ground aspect and you think Complexity, they're so good at team fighting, they're so good at 5-manning, they're so confident at this stage in the game. If you've watched Complexity any time in the past 2 years, high ground is actually one of the banes of their existence. They have a lot of situations where they can't decide whether to stay and commit to a barracks or they pull back, and that has been just something that they've been having to work through as a team for a long time.
Trying to close out, you know.
Having to close out the game is one thing that Complexity has a lot of difficulty with, and we're seeing WanteD get in a better and better position to actually reinforce their high ground and to turn the game back on its head.
Yeah, for Complexity's sake, I would really hope that looking at this network graph in the future, I'm not going to soon see this giant mountain peak that goes right back down again. They have already clinched themselves such a heavy-handed advantage, and when late game begins to really come out, I don't know, man. I would be a bit nervous to see a Swole Lone Druid and now a QO who is starting to feel his rhythm quite a bit.
Now, they will have the pipe coming out on Swindle Melons pretty soon. The Weaver, obviously, finishing up the Lincolns and about to buy up his Maelstrom. So a lot of good things going for them, but they still have to be just always together, moving in the right positions, and they have to find a way to bring this Lone Druid down from a distance because the Pike is about to come online.
Complexity smoke, they move their way through. WanteD territory now, looking to get some of those nice wards down. And WanteD themselves now smoked, moving up and inside. Z-Freak close, and he gets spotted. He is kind of the one out there for Cole, almost like a scout, I guess, at that point. He thought he was going to be in a good enough pocket where he could blink away, but good jump from QO there.
Yeah, and this is kind of the unfortunate aspect of the offlane Abaddon compared to the support one, is that in this mid-game stage, all you have for mobility is phase boost. So when your enemy gets caught, you're not going to be able to like run in with Tranquil and Blink Dagger.
They arrow for the bear, and they think about moving it on it, but QO makes his jump, and WanteD are looking to take advantage with their own numbers here in a mid-lane push, but they're not going to get the follow-up yet. Moo comes in now and starts jabbing at Boris a bit. WanteD do not want to be chased. Are trying to fend off Complexity from pursuing any further. QO sees an opening, looks to jump down and get the jump onto Cancel here, who's going to get bumped back from Boris. Cancel has plenty of mana, goes back to the high ground and avoids further trouble. QO with not enough mana to chase up. Swindle locked down a bit, and he's in trouble. Gets shredded apart from Chessie. And he'll be taken out from the fight moving forward. Jo, though, also going to get popped. Nicely done there from Moo. He looks to go for PPD. Rushing on in, looking to go for the little lady, though. It's going to be Chessie. Set up from Z-Freak. Good stun there. WanteD move back inside where they feel it's safe. Jo has bought back.
Yeah, not for much though. He didn't even get really a lot of fountain healing out onto Chessie here, but it seems like it's enough to deter CompLexity.
Yeah.
A couple of key target isolations, isolating the
QO is on the prowl for Chessie. He jumps all the way in, is able to still hold some good amount of mana here, but Z-Freak hits him up with the crush. Jump in from Boris. Connects onto 3, locks him in their place, but he is quickly going to be outnumbered. One Blade Mail is not going to be good enough to shrug them off. He is able to get QO into a safer spot though, and WanteD again might need to kind of bounce back inside. The relocate will help get him out. Chessie runs back, but Z-Freak catches him right out the door with a nice crush. Then QO jumps in, gets the pull, and saves his comrade Chessie, allowing him to make it back inside. It will cost QO's life.
He'll be back soon, though.
Yeah.
He had enough charges. He's going to be respawning here in just a few seconds. So, while that death does cost a decent bit of golden experience going the way of a call, it's still going to be potential to continue defending the high ground. So, it's tough. Obviously, it's originally a mistake on QO's part to go that deep, that hard. He thought he'd just have another freebie like he had the last 2 times he picked off Slardar. But in this case, they were ready, they were waiting, and they were able to turn it back around. So Boris dies and for QO, and then QO dies for Chessie. But in the end, it kind of resets everything. If we continue to look at the graphs, it's plateaued out. CompLexity, they're going to look for the next Roche, they're going to look for the next Aegis, and that's when they need to look to close out the game. Because if they can't take it on Roche number 2, then we're going to be looking at a very drawn-out game, which WanteD can take advantage of.
Yeah, I would imagine they are eyeballing the late 4th quarter at this point if you're WanteD, unless you can fully take advantage of CompLexity overstepping themselves a bit here. Swindles, as we see now, moving in to get the sentry down.
He misses one of the lower ground wards and doesn't actually see the one on the high ground. So.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's in range. It's just they don't have vision on it at the moment, but it's still pretty awkward to not get much intel where you desperately need it.
So they'll have to run all the way back and over here. Oh my God, that may have hit if QO didn't happen to be TPing there. QO trying to split push a bit to obviously, as mentioned before, have WanteD stall things out and create more space for themselves. Lots of building up to do here.
All right, so Balanced Lone Druid has a 65 damage talent. He's probably going to go for Scotty next, and at that point, he's going to be extremely tanky, having extreme range, and of course, being able to put out a hell of a lot of damage. So that's when you have to be the most worried for the side of call. They might not even wait for the next Roche. They might just actually try to go for a full 5-man movement, but it looks like this Observer Sentry duo on the plateau is going to see it all.
Seems to be the case here. These are Smokes and an Invis Rune and a Moonlight Shadow. Or not Smokes, but Moonlight Shadow not a Smoke, so it's going to be spotted out. But thankfully for WanteD, they are way far away on the other side of the map right now. And seem to be avoiding all that trouble. So CompLexity.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, they're just going. Well, we're going to have to see a mass TP back to defend the high ground.
They've already started.
They're not really set up.
They already have 3 back inside, but CompLexity have begun to make their move right down the mid lane. Here, WanteD make their return. One of them not back yet. It's Boris, who may have to do the long trek. He has 8 more seconds on his own TP. But
nice little call from Swindles, though. I mean, just being able to take some nice chip damage from that tower. I mean, being able to take free 700 HP off the mid-tier 3, just based on WanteD playing very far down in the bottom lane. Just a really good read and some free damage at no cost.
there is a push bottom lane going in favor of WanteD at the moment, so there's time ticking here before CompLexity will have their own pressure on south. As WanteD had the capability here, overcharged Chessie Lone Druid with Mjolnir is certainly going to be good enough to shred through any of these creep waves moving forward. So I'm curious what it's going to take from Cole to breach. This is exactly what continues to be their bottleneck.
Yeah, I was actually surprised it took this long for Geometry's side to come out for Swindlemelons here. Once you take the shrines from the opposition, all you want to do then is just take away the ward vision. They don't have any place to TP to, they don't have any intel across the map, and you just get full map control and all the farm to yourself. But, you know, you're a little hesitant when you're the one with 2 Invis heroes to pick up the first gem, but in this case, it's definitely necessary, and they're going to start to build a better grasp on the map as a whole.
QO top lane here. Hanging on the side, split pushing a bit.
So hard to actually kill him off. Like, he could just do so much. As long as his TP doesn't get canceled, he's pretty much home free in almost any situation. He's just tanky enough to survive the chain stuns that are coming out, unless an arrow's involved.
I could have hit Roshan with my eyes closed.
Call make the move. Moving for the Roche right now. A rocket on route. Will spot it out here for WanteD.
Is QO setting up for another snatch? They cannot fight this, but if they can snatch, that
He's
would be
going all the way in. They are going to get the takedown of the Roche. He will not be able to get the snag of the Aegis this time, however, and he will lose his life for it.
So
man.
Yeah, Dire take the Roshan.
Yeah.
But, the Aegis is the prize, and that does cost Storm Spirit. If that,
But look at
happened
bottom
again,
lane. WanteD already going to be outside the door of CompLexity here. CompLexity trying to beeline it themselves down mid lane.
Yeah.
What's the call going to be here? It's Chessie with overcharged Wisp.
And the beautiful thing is you have relocate available, so you can easily bring in everybody back to defend and have your cake and eat it too. They can take A racks and defend their mid, and I think that's going to be the key here. Is they're going to just jump back as soon as they need to, and we'll see. Right now, Monkey's putting a lot of attack speed boost on that racks with the Curse of Avernus, and it is going to be a full-on trade. It looks like.
Bottom lane, Z-Freak going to get roared, sent on back, cancel with the BKB, hanging from the back side. The relocate's there, and they're going to go back home. One racks down, it looks like, on the side of WanteD. While Cole even get to hold their tier 3, just barely standing.
Yeah, I guess I have to kind of reorient myself about this Lone Druid hero, as we do see a Wisp just getting picked off on the rubber band of the relocate. But you have to remember that while Lone Druid used to be really good at taking buildings, because the Lone Druid has a Demolish passive, which gives them 140% building damage, the damage isn't coming from the bear. It's coming from the master himself, Syllabear. So in that case, yeah, the trade isn't going to be nearly as worthwhile. A simple glyph, and they actually even keep their tier 3 up on CompLexity's side.
Oh, Moo makes the move to go onto the bear, finds himself swinging around with QO a bit, but they can't seem to get a good lock, and the Moonlight Shadow will also come out. WanteD get themselves back inside where they feel it's safe, and CompLexity get themselves back outside. Where they're going to look to make their move. Z-Freak jumps in, gets a nice crush. Follow-up stuns there. QO going to get blasted apart. Seems to be fine. Won't be able to make it back away to the arms of Jo. Z-Freak will not be able to make it out. PBD loses his life. Monkey moves in for him. A re-engagement comes out from QO. Monkey's going to pop the borrowed time, and they move in and get the gem down as they blast apart Swindle Melons here. CompLexity hang on the outskirts. Moo
Oh, get him!
is not going to be able to assist on this one. Jumping forward, they get the takedown now of Monkeys. That's the gem. Cancel, hiding behind the trees. Arrow on the high ground, gets connection for Boris. Can he right-click him apart? Boris pops the blade mail. It gets out of the range and allows Chessie to just begin going in on Cancel and taking him down. Triple kill for the Lone Druid. WanteD hold.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors going into that fight there. One of the biggest ones is just the fact that PPD got about 4 or 5 seconds on his freezing field. From a distance, he let it go, and it was actually Abaddon Bash was the only tool that they had left at their disposal to break the CM ulti. So in that case, they're able to put out a lot of damage back the other way. The Storm Spirit just fully committing with his life means that the Chessie gets the space he needs to finally put out the damage, and this brings him up to Scotty territory. He got a lot of gold out of that exchange, and while they are at a 1 racks deficit, WanteD is has a team composition that can easily come back from that kind of a position.
Yep.
So CompLexity, they have to really turn their herd on. They don't have a Roche for quite a while now. It's only been 3 minutes since the last Roshan. So they have to just, without an Aegis and without Cheese, look for another tier 3, I think. Otherwise, Chessie is going to be massive, and QO will be willing to create the space for him.
Do you think it would feel comfortable for CompLexity and the amount of damage that they're able to get out? I mean, we know Moo hits pretty hard, and certainly with Z-Freak helping out with the amp damage. Is that enough though in these fights? Does it feel like it's enough in these fights?
It was enough up until this point. 35 minutes, the first half of this game, so to speak, has been really strong for CompLexity. They're able to chain stun, they're able to put a lot of damage in, but it's kind of finite, right? Other than upping the Corrosive Haze on Slardar to get a little bit more negative armor and to continue to give Moo farm and get that Bloodthorn up, there's really only so many more places you can go in terms of damage output.
Ooh. They're trying to go for a good jump here on Chessie, who is in the mid lane. Z-Freak goes for it. PPD nearby. Gets off the Frostbite. Jo looking to relocate. Pulls him back and away. But the chase is there. Monkeys moves in and gets the job done. Now he's looking to go for Jo, and they should do it. Double kill for Monkeys on the Abaddon. Making a triple as he snipes that one down. All right, CompLexity not looking to lose a hold of this one. WanteD had a stronghold in the mid lane, but CompLexity, they fought too hard to get to this kind of position. They're not looking to let up.
Yeah, the Lone Druid will be respawning very shortly. He does have the -50 respawn time talent, but it looks like the racks are already gone. They're just putting way too much damage in. Great jump in, and unfortunately just way too weak of a relocate from Jo. Now PPD gets arrowed, and there's nothing left in the tank for WanteD.
Buy back out from PPD. QO moves in, finds himself silenced, has to step right back out. Chessie back from the dead now. But they will find their racks already gone. Jumping again. Z-Freak just absolutely clutched this game with the crushes. Sets up another beautiful one there for CompLexity as they look to go for the nail in the coffin. WanteD are going to be pushed back. CompLexity happy with their winnings. They'll walk away.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very, very difficult position for WanteD to fight back from. They are now at a 2-lane deficit. And, of course, spending multiple buybacks to try to get back into that fight. They don't actually have any buybacks available to them at this moment. CompLexity got exactly what they wanted there. Really nice jump twice from Z-Freak, getting the perfect stuns out, specifically on the Lone Druid. Jo only giving him about a blink dagger's worth of breathing room with that relocate. Just wasn't enough, and Monkeys cleans it up on the back line. This is really good move for CompLexity, kind of like just having this full concave arc come streaming in and being able to follow through with all these key abilities. Like, yeah, they're on a timer. Yeah, they have their limitations, but Moo is continuing to progress, and at least his damage will always be impactful. And when you get pickoffs like that, it just doesn't matter how tanky you are. You can get a Scotty and a Heart, and Lone Druid would probably still be going down there.
Now Cole find themselves in a position where they're just 1 racks away from claiming the Megas and claiming game number 1, which people would look at this and maybe consider it an upset or not, just based on WanteD's performance against Digital Chaos the other day, or yesterday rather. So as it stands right now, CompLexity taking all those big winnings from their successful push in through the top lane, and we have to see where they go from here. Already starting their adventure down this bottom lane. Do you suppose they take that all the way up to the base? Do they need to round off and go back for the Roche?
I think Roche is a perfectly reasonable approach. At this point, you have so much lane pressure that they're not going to be able to make any moves without you seeing them. WanteD could smoke up, but you know that they're not pushing up the lane, so they're losing shrines or whatnot. So at that point, Roche is pretty much free for call, and it's just an easy closeout of the game for them. Combining that with the fact they have Bloodthorn and amp damage, that Roche may be lasting like all of 6 seconds, makes it such an easy objective for them. So they'll continue to move together to avoid being picked off, but they don't have to breach high ground at this stage.
Looks like WanteD, though, are making a game plan themselves. It could be a predictable movement coming in from CompLexity, and one that WanteD want to try to take advantage of here. With some good positioning, they're going to be creeping in. This time Z-Freak, he's not going to be able to get in first and foremost. Instead, he's the one that is going to get hit, and now it's going to be a jump in. Moo going right in and trying to take it right to Chessie himself. The jumps continue. They're going to be able to get him down. He's going to be out for about 30 seconds. QO frantic to try to make it back and away. Inside, low on life, low on mana, amped up. He hits the shrine to stay alive, but the Gemini is going to be able to get the finish. He's out of this one for a minute. And drops the gen with his dead corpse. Cancel moves in now. A setup from Z-Freak, and this could do it. CompLexity. Full 5-man wipe of WanteD here at the end. 33-17. They take game number 1.
Yeah, a little bit of hope for WanteD there in the tail end of the mid game, but it's just Moo doing way too much damage. They had a DD and a Bloodthorn, and I don't know. WanteD 2 fights in a row. I expected them to be defending from their high ground, playing it very safe, playing it like they have a sniper. And instead, they end up taking it kind of on the hills in the middle of the open field, and that's going to be where CompLexity thrive. They're able to get the initiation off they need. No matter what QO did in that team fight, it just doesn't matter. He finally had a BKB, and Orchid uses them to perfection, and yet CompLexity just have too much of a resounding advantage at that point in time. So WanteD taking a bit of a too aggressive stance, and you talked about this maybe being an upset, as we did see a 2-1 victory of WanteD over DC.
Yeah,
I'd consider WanteD more in calibration right now.
That's
They're like they could take a game here, they can lose a game there. We don't really fully understand the strength of this team.
Yeah,
they're obviously taking the game seriously, but to what level and to what degree remains to be seen. So game 1 in the books, and I can't wait to see what WanteD and CompLexity bring out in game number 2.
Yeah, I would suspect probably a bit more attention towards the laning phase here for WanteD a bit, but you're absolutely right. A team that's calibrating, I like how you put it like that, a team that's learning a lot about what kind of compositions they're able to succeed with. One thing's for sure, CompLexity already know what their team could succeed with. They pull out a lineup they have already polished a bit, and we've seen work, and it continues to be a tried and true for them. Shoutouts to Moo on the Weaver, by the way. 12 and 1 and 13. This man finds a ridiculous amount of farm in the laning phase and just really hits it home at the back end of it. And then also shout out to, of course, Z-Freak. Tremendous setups with his Slardar on those crushes. Really made it count. That's just game number 1, folks. We'll cut to a break. When we come back, more DAC American Qualifier action as we get into game number 2 of CompLexity versus WanteD.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
The sack.
CompLexity's turn to pick.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
War Chief.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Rubik.
Complexities turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Complexities turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Complexities turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Earth Spirit.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
The Undying waits.
Complexities turn to pick.
Kinker.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Lot coming from him.
Yeah.
So not as big of a fan in that matchup compared to like the OD where you can imprison the Tinker as soon as he lasers you, so that it's kind of a null field win. But at the same time, you have to be aware of a lot of pressure coming in from multiple sides. I'd say Mirana, if you want an escape hero, is probably going to be a good hero to go back to. Otherwise, you could even look at maybe like a melee hero. I've seen mid-jug work out really well in this kind of situation.
What about a DK? I don't know
Yeah,
Kyo to play DK.
It can work out well enough,
yeah.
but it's not really his style, you know?
Yeah, Kyo has an interesting style, and a lot of those like just basic traditional heroes don't like Kyo's name. I just don't see on those kind of heroes, but we'll have to see here in the wanted roster though, and under the guidance of PPD made with these drafts, they're gonna go with the Jug as mentioned. So.
All right. So yeah, safe lane lone drift for Chessie, and that's gonna be a mid juggernaut for QO. The healing ward and the soul rip gonna be very helpful for keeping the bear on the front line when they're taking towers early on, and then later on it's just gonna be a great tool as a whole for them just to be involved. But the best thing is you get lasered, you want to kill a creep, you still just spin right on him, and the Tinker has to back off. He's got really pitiful right click damage, so you usually go for like a poor man shield on the juggernaut, and you're fine. I mean, how does an Earth Spirit gank a juggernaut? It just doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
I mean, at level 3, you have the theoretical possibility of putting some decent damage on him, but you're probably going to take more in return.
Yeah, it's a bit fickle. Maybe if you're able to like just kick him straight back before he even gets a Blade Fury off, but it's like I said, just fickle as it is. Wanted moving in. Boris the Bat Rider. We haven't got to see him play this hero yet, at least in any of these competitive games. We'll see what he can do from there. They seem to have gotten him a new hero each time too.
Yeah.
We're not seeing Boris ever play the same thing twice.
Yeah, his debut is looking really strong, and we're seeing something unique from him. I saw Void in his Battle Cup game. We had Legion and Axe, Bat Rider here. I mean, yeah, a lot of different things to bring to bear.
Just trying to show off his hero pool early.
Yeah, just getting that versatility score up. It's like 1.0, 2.0, all the way up to 9, 10. Yeah, he's just trying to showcase his skill set here, and I gotta say, overall, the past couple years, I've been looking at NA Dota and thinking, we don't have enough good offlaners. Like, we have Universe, Alex Mike makes a showing every once in a while, really good stuff, but we need more stuff. And Monkey's made a decent transition over to offlane, and Boris is really showing to be one of the stars of this roster. So
the one thing American Dota has plenty of, it's like mid laners and cores.
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
never any supports. There's never like any like tremendous.
Really good 5s and really good 3s, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, Moonmeander came back from OG. You got Boris here on the offline. Like, I'm excited about the offline factor, and just across the board for NA Dota. I feel like we're back in business here. But
yeah, it's good to be in a position where it doesn't feel like it's just like two teams kind of taking over below like what EG is or something like that. So not just two teams battling it out for that one remaining qualifier spot. You have like 4 teams now who can kind of take games off each other. 5 teams maybe.
Ursa Warrior.
Round things out for CompLexity. They're going to go in for the Ursa now for the Moo pickup. Man fighter to kind of be able to go on some bear-on-bear action.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like he's not actually going to be able to stay on the Lone Druid too easily because of the Hurricane Pike as well as Rabbit from Lone Druid. He's really good at kiting, but I mean, you drop a tombstone, that tombstone dies. Ursa just drops that so quickly. So that's pretty nice. Doesn't give Rubik anything good to steal. And Juggernaut, like, obviously, the spin is usually a good disengage from a lot of heroes, but it's not going to be really worried about too much by the Ursa. So all in all, I think it has a lot of good potential. I'm curious to see exactly how quickly he can come online and if they're able to go for an early Roshan.
What's the over-under? We can start this game without a pause. Is it going to happen? Oh my god, a game is starting without a pause underway. This is a wonderful time to be alive as we get into game number 2 of Complexity versus WanteD in this best of 3. Looks like 4 positions here narrowly missing each other, but pings are out. It looks like they may have spotted.
Yeah, so
that ward was
the
dropped.
Radiant knew that Z-Freak saw the Undying because the Undying wasn't smoked. But Z-Freak kept his smoke by just staying at the maximum radius of it, keeping his distance, and able to get this ward up unbeknownst to WanteD. So WanteD should not be able to de-ward this Radiant ward towards the bottom lane. And in the meantime, you already see the one on from the Dire side getting taken down and giving 100 free gold to cancel.
Is a nice little start for Complexity. The ward meta already won.
I mean, that's
not even 30
smoke.
seconds
Easily paid
before
for
the
itself
game.
right there.
Yep.
You get a ward that is almost guaranteed to stay, giving you great intel on what's going on with the Bat Rider in the off lane, and you just gave Cancel a start off of, well, he's buying the salve now, but he's still giving him essentially a free bounty run.
Jao having a little bit of fun, of course, on his Undying.
We're going to see that a lot, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
We do not have any
Jao's the
sentries,
kind of
though.
player who would just spam that like crazy.
We saw it a lot yesterday. I think it was SG Esports, even in a losing situation, trying to make the best of his hero. But here we're going to get underway here. Kind of similar setup here for WanteD, at least PPD kind of joining Chessie here towards the top lane, but then dishes out an early smoke here. He's going to go for a deep ward, probably. I don't know what else it would be unless it's an early gank on the mid lane.
I mean, there's some potential to really annoy Cancel, but I don't think there's kill potential because of the Fairy Fire. So you really just want to get that ward down and then, you know, exhaust some of Cancel's resources early on.
Courier snipe, maybe.
That's definitely possible too, but the thing is, he got that Sentry ward kill, so he isn't going to be using the Courier for a long time.
That's true. Well, Peter does get the ward down behind the tier 1. Giving QO a better idea of what's happening in the lane and where Cancel could be. PBD is going to take his business back up towards the top where we see Centaur War Runner Monkeys battling it out with Chessie and his Lone Druid. Kind of getting the bad end of the trades for now, but has plenty of regen to fall back on. Plus, PBD will be here soon to kind of assist him. Z-Freak doing the Z-Freak. This pull, man.
Yeah, he loves it. He takes advantage of it almost any time he's on Radiant, which
free level 2.
which of course is their preference here. Moo finally getting a chance to go over the side shot to pick up the magic stick. Very important against Undying Bat Rider is to get that stick up quickly because he's going to have to commit fully, and he's going to need every bit of health he can to do so.
Moo making his swipes onto Jao here. Jao trying to find his way out, but Z-Freak shows himself, moves right in, and gets an immediate boulder smash
they get
set
the
up.
stun!
With the setup of Swindle, they'll get the finish. Beautiful play from Z-Freak. He rolls in, connects with the rolling boulder, and then immediately targets out the follow-up kill on Bat Rider with his boulder smash, making it easy for Swindle.
Yeah, double stun right there. That's the power of that early level 2. Z-Freak's pull, again, giving them the edge. And now with a 2-0 lead, Complexity are again off to the races. The previous game, they won the early game by draft. Now they're winning it by execution.
I mean, do you think it's right? Radiant get the access to this kind of a pull, and Dire do not. Like, and we see it almost every time now by the Radiant team. That 4 positions, like an unthreatened chance to just get to level 2 immediately. It's just so sweet.
I mean, I don't know how to fix it though. If iFrog really wants to camp there, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of awkward no matter how you look at it. But yeah, we'll see. Z-Freak actually getting a jump on PPD here. They wasted the telekinesis, so this could be a kill. Just needs to stomp, needs the edge, and that is going to be the 3rd kill for Complexity.
Z-Freak just recognizing that this is the best time of the life right now for an Earth Spirit. You get that quick level 2, now he's level 3. He's actually going to go with a 1-1-1 build-up too.
Yeah, I like that.
Most you would favor just getting the extra damage or stun, of course, for the boulder smash, but he's favoring getting the silence early on.
If there's any chance of rotating on the Juggernaut, it's going to be with a silence. So I think the Geogrip is actually quite potent here and definitely creates a lot more potential. He's really doing a lot in terms of early aggression. He's got his boots and his Overvenom and 400 gold in the bank, and they'll go ahead, shrine it up just to make sure that he's topped off, and he can again start rolling in. It looks like PPD actually might be in trouble. Cancel's the one being spun on, but Z-Freak coming in.
Yeah, they dance around quite a bit here, but Cancel begins to fill up from his bottle. They spot out PPD, they set up with the boulder smash, and then the rolling boulder in. And they'll have to wait a bit longer before
the movement speed advantage is ridiculous. Bootsless Rubik compared to the Orb Venom boots on Z-Freak. There is a healing ward coming in, but there's enough burst damage to make that irrelevant.
He gets zapped right in the back of the head, and PPD will be taken down, and Z-Freak continues to chase here. Has a rolling boulder, but not going to be using it here. They get the takedown of the ward. And really tremendous start here for CompLexity, taking it to WanteD 4-0 already. Bottom lane, you see Boris now getting close to level 4, him and Jo. How's this lane been working out here? Swindle, 6 CS. Moo is climbing up to 10, but I don't know. It still looks like it's going pretty swell for WanteD.
So CS is not going to be great for the Ursa here. There's so much that keeps him off the lane, but obviously he's gotten quite in terms of kills. I mean, he's up 1-0-1, so he's getting his farm that way, which is traditionally what Ursa prefers anyways. The problem is now that there's level 4, there's a flame break, it's really easy for them to kite Moo away until it gets level 6.
So WanteD will kind of use the lane. They'll use the shrine in the bottom lane now to heal everyone up, but they'll use the lane and the positioning to their advantage to avoid trouble from Moo. Melons will continue to grind away, working with the pull camps to find his own bit of soul farm, leaving Moo to his own devices in the lane nearby. But there isn't going to be a tremendous amount of kill potential for either team as it is in the 2v2. So we take eyes to the top lane now, where we have Z-Freak looking for a new setup here, and he's going to not fully commit.
Oh, he didn't actually hit the boulder.
Oh, I thought he, I'm not going to commit, but he actually did drop the stone, and he missed it, and almost finds himself in trouble. A convenient route and right-click. Oh, disaster. That couldn't have just been more fumbling right there, unfortunately. Just not getting the boulder roll and then finding yourself in a route.
And
now Monkeys could find himself in a bit of trouble at the same time, trying to find his way to weasel through these trees. Commits with the stomp and will be able to make his way out.
Yeah, almost gets fully body blocked there. In the meantime, Moo down at bottom gets under the tombstone, has to claw it down, but in the meantime has 4 napalm stacks coming his way, and it's going to be a lot of fire damage. They know he's level 6 though, and that's the key, is he can still kind of go for these prolonged engagements against Batrider when he can rage off the sticky.
Good recognition of there, of course, for Boris, not getting too zealous and seeing a low bear and just trying to charge on in for him. Mid lane, Cancel is on chase for QO. And Z-Freak sees him as well. There's going to be the Rocket. He's trying to juke with the shadows, but he's not going to be making it out. Cancel eventually zaps him down. And with Z-Freak there was really no outs for the Jug.
Yeah, some mana issues there. Just, I mean, if he had the spin, he'd be absolutely fine, but realizing that he didn't have enough, they were able to just kind of put him in a corner, and they're able to get another key kill. So 5-1 in favor of CompLexity. CS still pretty decent for WanteD in the sense that Chessie is able to farm up so well against the Centaur here, but that doesn't mean that, Monkeys is doing too badly. He's got his Tranquil Boots working towards Hood, and then he can just, either just keep using Double Edge to farm, or whatever he needs to do to stay on the lane.
Z-Freak could again put focus onto QO here, who gets hit up with the laser. QO commits him with the Omni. Z-Freak tries to show up to help mitigate the damage a bit, and now even a Stampede comes out. QO back into a Blade Fury here. Gets hit with the Boulder Smash, with the laser, and will get dropped. And now PPD trying to sweep in to help the back end of the fight. Swindle shows himself and is now going to be quickly outnumbered. CompLexity 7-1. Hey Brazil, how you doing?
Baited. Yeah, man, like they have this Observer Ward on the high ground. They've been able to read the Juggernaut's movements perfectly. They knew that he was going to go for the Omni play, that it wouldn't be enough to kill the Tinker, and they'd have the reaction with the Stampede. So really great foresight coming in from CompLexity as a whole. Some great shot calling, and unfortunately a bump back on Moo down bottom. He gets helped out by the Flame Break in terms of his positioning, and is able to enrage under tower.
But he hasn't died yet. WanteD haven't been able to capitalize in this lane that you think would be their best one, and it's going to be Boris taken down. Cancel on a killing spree. This man is going to have his boots to travel really fast and be a problem sooner than you expect. CompLexity looking to cut off WanteD members from running back and away. Jo on one side will be able to make it out of the back of a TP, but PPD not so fortunate. He will get dropped. Another kill for Cancel. This man is 4-0 already on his Tinker at just before 8 minutes into this game. 9-2. CompLexity looking to go for a fast 2-0 sweep of WanteD. Who'da thunk?
Yeah, doing a lot of work here. There was one thing that happened on the top lane, the Lone Droid getting a nice root, and without the Stampede to get further away, the Centaur does get killed off solo by Chessie. So that Chessie's pretty much the shining star for WanteD right now. Like, he's the only one that's got something going for him. But at the same time, QO should be able to build up towards at least a decent item set to keep fighting, and while Chessie starts pushing. So all in all, right now, CompLexity have a lot going for them, but if we see some good counter gank play with the lasso coming up pretty soon, with the ability for Juggernaut to rotate and get involved, like, I'm just hoping that WanteD can take a couple fights and make this a real game.
Boris floats in, but CompLexity have that vision on the high ground. WanteD had pinged that area knowing CompLexity was there, but maybe they didn't know how many. Boris will end up losing his life. QO steps in with an Omni Slash and gets the quick finish for Z-Freak. Melons could also be dropped as the zombies eat away at him and chew him apart. He is going to be going down. Jumping for Monkeys, though. The back end of Swindle's life is able to get some burst damage and allows Monkeys to get the finish there. Another double kill for Cancel. All the meanwhile, Chessie farming this top lane.
Unfortunately, Swindles goes down there. I think there's a definitely possibility that he could have landed the stun without getting killed off, but at the same time, like, he guarantees it the closer the Juggernaut is, so being a little bit more patient with it guarantees a kill on a core for a support. So in the end, not the end of the world. A little bit of gold going back WanteD's way, but across the board, CompLexity doing work. The one thing that they are lacking, though, is push. Undying, under tower, going to be killed off by the Ursa, and he'll just keep out with nothing to cancel it. No, the Savage Roar comes in from Chessie at the perfect moment, and they should be able to bring him down now that the Enrage is on cooldown.
Yeah, no one even close by here. It'll just be a slow, painful death. PPD is just like, how's it going? Zaps him with a Fade Bolt casually, but...
Euthanize, like, that's just make it painless. Make it quick. But all the same, like... One thing that CompLexity doesn't have the ability to do is translate these kills and this momentum into towers. They don't really have any great push. Diabolic Edict is actually their best pushing tool. It will enable them to take the tier 1 up top, but they're going to, in order to take the map the way that we saw in Game 1, they're going to have to really resoundingly win these team fights because they have great counter push, great wave clear. But in terms of actually killing off the buildings, the Lesh is the only one designed for it.
Oh, who is this coming into action here? It's going to be Monkeys TPing right onto the head of Boris. Cancel also shows up. Z-Freak's here too. The Stampede's going to get called out. And WanteD trying to recover on this one, but the Magnetize is going to be unleashed from Z-Freak. Boulder Smash to lock JO in his place. Could be set to go down. Steps back, continues to get out the decays. He's swelling up. He's getting out the rips. And he's holding on here. WanteD
Tinker coming back
trying
in.
to run.
Oh,
nice
BPD!
kill of the creep. Not going to allow him to get back into the fight, but he could lose his life for it and will get stunned down. Good
Still
clutch,
worth it.
Heads up. That could have been disaster for WanteD, but they do make it out, only suffering the one casualty.
PPD killing off the creep. Like, that would have easily been those 2 kills and potentially even more damage against them if they hadn't stopped Tinker from coming back in. But yep, cancels Taxi, gets caught in a jam, and we're going to see that WanteD are still minimizing their losses. They're getting their ultimates up. If there's a comeback coming, they're going to be at least in a better position if they can just stop the bleeding. And you know, every Stampede is a good fight for CompLexity. So if they can just try to continue to spread the map, continue to build up, I still think that they have some potential the longer this game goes. But obviously the net worth graph is pretty favorable for CompLexity.
Oh, for sure. I could imagine CompLexity looking to pump the brakes at this point. Oh, QO commits in with the Omni Slash, trying to take it to Swindle, but the creeps nearby are happy to tank the most of the damage on that. So unfortunate RNG for QO, favorable RNG for Swindle. He'll live and walk out from that trouble. But as I was saying, CompLexity might kind of pump the brakes a bit. I mean, a Blink Dagger on cancel would be so sweet to have at this point. You know, Z-Freak just got his ulti and dished out all of his stones, so he needs a moment to get more of those stones back. While this is happening, though, that might be when WanteD take a window of opportunity to strike.
Yeah, I mean, Cancel's already so far, man. 6-0 and 3, really good CS. Now we're going to see isolated Centaur Warrunner. Doesn't want to have to pop the Stampede here, but might just to survive. Hood and Stick. He needs to run. He needs to run fast. And is not actually going to get the distance he wanted there. Nice stun coming in from Z-Freak, and that will give him the space he needs.
Yep, it looks like they can make it to the high ground. They even have a shrine if they need to use. But what could have been an awkward position for Monkeys, it only cost them a Stampede to make it out from trouble altogether. Not too shabby there. And their precious Moo Bear continues to farm up in the top lane too, so they're going to be going at it as a 4-man, moving in for PPD. Gets hit with the stun, the laser, the roll. Not getting the connection again with the stone.
Yeah.
A bit awkward there.
Another lost roll. Obviously, it doesn't go under tower as a result. If it had been sidestepped and the extra boulder movement would have put him under the tier 2, but at the same time, you want to try to get that any kills you can right now to continue to build momentum. Right now, you're at the strongest you're going to be this game, and I feel like they just have to continue to turn it into kills, turn it into towers. They don't have Stampede to initiate on Boris here, so it looks like they're not going to find him, but wandering into the jungle, that is Juggernaut. I don't think he's seen them with the ward yet.
They just did. Canceled it at least. Frantically picking him out. Z-Freak rolls to catch him out. He goes for the Blade Fury TP.
Why?
And he's gone.
Just a spite stun coming in from Melons. He's like, yeah, just get out of here. We don't want you. In the meantime, Moo has just taken over the top lane. Like, he pushes out a couple waves, farms up the entirety of the jungle, possesses some of the creeps with the Dominator, and just goes about his business. And now that he has a good ward up, he might even look towards Roshan, because he has 2 great pieces of information as far as their Dire's approach towards the pit. And even scouting a smoke right here with that ward.
That will be the exit of Cancel, and they will try their best to avoid trouble from WanteD here as they try to roll in through this mid lane. CompLexity were pushing out this bottom lane, but then they opt to pull off instead and head all the way back home. Moose still hanging in that top lane. He may not know it, but there is seriously no threat nearby. WanteD's opportunity to make a jump is not going to be happening here. We got to get a bit concerned for him too. I mean, looking at Boris, nowhere near a Blink Dagger yet. Still needs to find some time to farm it up and be that initiator.
So, everybody grouped up for a really big exchange. QO does have a haster, and so a lot of potential here to move.
Nice roll and silence onto QO. The Stampede will be there. The follow-up stun. He gets healed, though. And then the Magnetize comes out. They blast apart Jug.
Jeez.
He's not going to be able to get anything off whatsoever. And WanteD are going to try to frantically make it out and away back home. PPD is going to be able to make it away. JO
That's free Roche.
Not so fortunate, and that is going to be a free Roche for CompLexity. Boris also going to have to peace out. 16-5, CompLexity coming out even more favorable than what we saw in game number 1. WanteD at this point feels like their only sleeping dragon could be Chessie here.
Yeah.
But at that point, he still shies behind Moo.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, a lot of people wonder how good 20 attack speed is on Ursa, or I guess 26 if you count the agility. But yeah, this Dominator actually gave him so much extra damage in that fight. He gets 2 overpowers off, so he's already got 12 attacks that are at maximum attack speed, and every attack in between is just that much more. He breaks the Tombstone, breaks the Juggernaut, just puts out so many quick hits, and man, they are in full tempo mode. CompLexity as a team loves this Dominator. It's great in the pro scene in general, but they tend to go for like 2 or 3 every game that they can. So Moo in the position to do so. You can maybe see Monkeys go for it next. They really just want to keep pushing, keep pressuring, and they don't want to give WanteD any opportunity to bounce back here. I mean, you've got the Blink Dagger still very far away from Boris, so not great initiation potential for WanteD, and as such, they're purely on the defensive.
Here, WanteD far from home, though, as they try to go for a finish on a tier 2 in the bottom lane. Already knowing it would appear that CompLexity are hanging up towards the northern part of this map. Melons and Moo in the mid lane here with PPD nearby.
Yeah, he's just looking to cancel a TP, and if he does manage that, then of course he's going to have a clear way of isolating a target and getting his team a kill.
Drops
Oh, Sentry? Oh, no.
He sees PPD. PPD knows what's going on, quickly throws out the telekinesis, and quickly Cole, TP, and get to attendance. WanteD looking to roll in. PPD
Nice
going
stun!
down, and they're going to lock down and just blast apart and take apart JO. Another promising fight for CompLexity here. Boris tries to take it to the low ground to make it out. QO already makes his retreat, and so does Boris. Cole, though, man, they come. They strike quick.
Yeah, you could just see the look of panic on PPD's face. He's watching Swindle's inventory. He sees the sentry, such with sentries, see it dropped out, and he just turns, and it's too late already. QO purely on the defensive here. He actually spin TP'd away from the last fight, so he doesn't have it for this one. And he's going to try to Omni in full panic and can't really do anything to save himself. Even PPD now in some trouble. Doesn't get hit by the boulder, but the rest of it comes. And that's going to drop down the Rubik as well. It's just like the past couple of games, it feels like QO has been purely on the defensive. Every time he wants to go in, he wants to make something happen, but he's so underfarmed that as soon as the fight starts, he's on the run.
I'm not seeing very many outs here for QO. He still falls behind even the Centaur as far as net worth goes. And you're putting a lot
He's
more
almost behind
pressure
Z-Freak,
on
dude.
Chessie. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous here, and it puts a lot on the shoulders of Chessie and his lone druid to kind of step up. But you know, even then, he's very single target driven, and there's just going to be so much from Cole to be able to shrug off that damage. At this point, your supports, your offlane monkeys soon enough, like he's actually going to go straight for an Agnum Scepter, and then you just have all that damage reduction for everybody. It's going to be a bit unbearable here for WanteD soon.
Great item. Really good item. The Stampede in general is extremely good this game. If you're not caught by the lasso or the entangling claws, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want with the Stampede. It's saved Tinker twice. It's allowed them to get in very aggressive positions with the Ursa. But adding in the ability to go over anything through cliffs or trees, as well as just having that massive damage reduction, it's impossible for WanteD to fight against that. It really is.
Zefric also prepping for the late game here. He has a Midas queued up.
You know, why not? At
Just
this
in case.
position, you've had such a good game on the Earth Spirit. 3, 2, and 10. He's
Yeah.
executed over and over, and you know, like, Earth Spirit's not a hero that really needs items.
Yeah.
Like,
The-
if
the
you this can get you an Agnum Scepter later on,
I mean, yeah.
it's great.
Well, the real dream is you get to that level 25 talent tree and you get that plus 300 rolling boulder damage
All right.
every few seconds. You know, why not?
you have to hit him first, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's true.
Dire's structures
But
are
yeah, a few in Fabled Dream. QO though, ooh, man, he's gotta be careful here. Zefric's looking to go for the roll. He has to pull out the blade spin, but he gets silenced immediately.
Wow. Perfect initiation there, just jumping in exactly as they wanted to. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, and that might actually allow them to do a lot of damage to this Tier 3. If they take Tier 3 and racks, the game's practically over.
Yeah.
So I think WanteD will have a pretty heavy defense, but at least for now, they're chipping it down quickly.
You see an Earth Spirit, you got a blade spin,
Yeah.
you got to get the hell out of there. I mean, you can't anticipate it's always going to be a boulder smash. An instant grip, instant silence is all that the doctor ordered here. Moo eating a lot of damage. Doesn't want to lose his ages that suddenly, so he'll be able to back on up. Not the
Oh,
same.
nice.
Nice snag pullback as Monkeys tries to stampede out. Boris will just snag him up and pull him to the arms of Jesse. And WanteD are able to pull up their first defensive hold here in the top lane.
Yeah, and we do see that there's continuous pressure on this bottom lane. WanteD really like to keep pushing out the side lane that's not being pressured, so that, you know, like you said before, CompLexity's on a timer. They can only do so much aggression, and they have to back on off and defend. Unfortunately, Tinker is perfect for that. He is able to BOT back a couple of marches, and that's cleared out, no problem at all. So, CompLexity in still a really good position. And I gotta be worried about QO, man. He was so happy-go-lucky on stream yesterday, and now, like, he seems to be just on tilt. Like, not spinning against the Earth Spirit there, and just in so many fights being caught in a tough position, either having to spin TP away immediately or getting really awkward Omni Slashes out. It's just not his game.
Yeah. And I don't know where he's going to find, like, his own little hyperbolic time chamber to just suddenly kind of get ready and get good for the later game. But maybe a couple of swinging promising fights. You got your blink on your Boris Batrider now. Maybe some missteps from CompLexity will allow you to get some big net worth pickoffs and mini rubber band swings, if you will. But until then, it's going to be a bit tough. QO deep inside enemy lines. Yeah, you could go for that ambitious Blade Fury TP, but Moo hits like a truck, son.
Yeah. There's actually
Just
nothing
easily
you can do
shreds him
now.
apart.
It's like, oh yeah, he doesn't have Basher, but he has the Aoi 2000 build, the Desolator, and he attacks insanely fast, while in a rage, and you're done. So at this point, we have people stocking up on top lane. You've got pressure in their own jungle. It just feels like CompLexity are everywhere at once. And once they take these last tier 2s, then WanteD really won't have any options.
Towers crumble. One more tier 2 stands, and already Moo's heading that way. They're doing their best to try to slow the roll here as Boris in the bottom lane is trying to cut the wave. Top lane, just between Cancel and Zefric, they're now pressuring the racks. WanteD quickly finding themselves being spread a bit thin here.
Like, in what world do you see an Earth Spirit and a Tinker solo pushing racks at 21 minutes? The reason is because they have Stampede. Like, they don't have to be afraid of squat. Because if they know the Batrider is pushing bottom, then there's no initiation. And they can just do this all day long and poke at unhealable damage on this range barracks.
I don't know what you could do if you're WanteD at this point. You can't just hold out for a Roche and hopes that QO gets in there and steals it. Not this game.
Nah.
Not at all. So what do? I mean, you can't. Are you going to pull your own CompLexity, smoke wraparound kind of a play?
Yeah, I think they have to go for smoke play. Where the previous game, I thought high ground defense was really strong for them. They don't really have the same tools as before. The Tombstone obviously hasn't accomplished enough this game. Juggernaut's too underfarmed. Like, you just have to go for picks. And so you have to hope that CompLexity spreads themselves thin enough that you're able to maybe isolate the Tinker and the Triggies and catch them with the Batrider Lasso. Like, you have to find opportunities like that. But daytime is a lot better than nighttime for that.
Now, I know Cancel's an amazing Tinker here, but what about his interesting pickup? He's going straight for a Yule Scepter. You know, Afo Ninja style. He's a perma Yules people up in the air. Not going for the Ags, though.
It can be pretty annoying, but at the same time, it's a great response to like the Batrider jump. The only thing they're afraid of is his lasso. So if you just blink Yules the Batrider, you're fine. Actually, that's a bear going down, 300 gold to Moo. And they'll even look for more here as they make their way east. But PPD seems to be okay. So more split push from QO and Boris. if one person comes to try to get involved, then they'll try to kill him off, but with a couple ultimates. But for the most part, it's Complexity's map, and you know, Tinker, he's just kind of securing their advantage by making it so that there's no way for WanteD to get in position for the kills.
Yep. His job is to kind of make sure pressure continues on WanteD side of the map and their side of the river. Bottom lane. Moo.
Oh, this is the pick they're looking for, though. If they only had the Juggernaut still bottom, this would actually be extremely bountiful, but of course he's up farming Ancients and Cancel. Like that's the only time he's going to expose himself, is just kind of half pushing that lane. Pretty much center bottom, center south of the map. So Boris in good position, but he needs a +1 in order to make that happen, and you're not seeing anything like BOTs out on anybody just yet. So at least for right now, it's still just wants to take in the Dire side while they can, and PPD just biting the bullet.
Yeah, he's trying to zap out the mid lane, but Zephric rolls in, sets it up for Moo. Moo takes it down. Just kind of, unfortunately, a blow that WanteD will have to take. Just a little support way back in 20 seconds as Cole move in for the final outer tower here. Already have that game 1 advantage, looking to go for the 2-0 sweep. It's time for Shrines, baby, as they roll back, and they'll look to take the extra money.
Not too shabby. This makes it so that the next source is pretty much guaranteed. And yeah, thanks a lot, Heaven.
They always do that. I don't understand. What, like, I don't even know how they do that, but it seems like every spectator will always, at least at one point in the game, make sure it's known that the Shrine is at a certain health percentage.
Certainly is. And now it's at 0. Ping that out, buddy. But yeah, I don't really see a great way for WanteD to start the fight that they want. Even if they get a good Omni-Slash on cancel, he just self-fuels, and then, you know, nothing's really happening there. So I just feel like in this position, they're desperate just to get a single target all by themselves. They're showing, actually, Juggernaut as the Sentry misses an Observer Ward.
Oh, here they come, frantically rolling to the mid lane. They get the grab for Moo. They're hoping to get for the big pick-off, for the big payback, and the big paycheck, but they're not.
Oh.
Beautiful setup and stun telekinesis there, but here comes the Magnetize out. Is it going to be good enough from WanteD as they take down now 3? Here comes WanteD rolling forward, take 4, and only Cancel, the survivor, makes it back inside. WanteD now rolling for the Roche and take a huge purse.
Yeah, what a mess. And they get the gem out of it as well. Tinker, I don't think he's going to be able to grab that one. He's going to just try to march the pit and try to prevent this, and QO does not have the healing ward for 20 seconds. So they are actually going to prevent the Roche.
Oh, QO, got to be careful. Those marches actually hit way too hard. That with Roche. You're right, they do not have the power to do it.
But still, an amazing fight coming out for one. I actually missed the fight recap, so I don't know how big of a swing, but you know it was massive when they're this far behind. The biggest thing that you can see there is when they were all clumped up, all in this, like, 4 heroes in one little tiny spot, there was a Flesh Golem on top of all of them, level 2, and a stolen War Stomp coming out from PPD. He telekinesis hero into the mix to add a 4th hero to the 3, stuns them all with telekinesis, then stuns them all with the Centaur Stomp, all under Flesh Golem, all taking a ton of damage, and that is a huge swing forward for WanteD. Still extremely far behind, but a major step in the right direction.
Best case you could really ask for in that kind of situation there. Huge setup from PPD, big plays from WanteD. And Cole now find themselves in a bit more of a fragile position than they were before. There's Roche now going to have eyes from both sides. And WanteD are still hanging around the corner at this point in time. But I would still favor, obviously, Cole in these fights. And they know they want to take this Roche before they kind of make another advancement towards the side of WanteD here. It's a very fickle time. I mean, Bat Rider always makes it tricky to kind of just casually move yourselves into the Roche pit and try to get it done.
Yeah. Right now, WanteD pretty much are fully dependent on smokes to make those kinds of initiation plays, and yeah, they only have like 1 in stock right now, so they're pretty deprived of their ability to get in position. We see a little back and forth between the summoned or the dominated creeps here, and Roshan helps out the Dire side a little bit, so they control the pit for now. As well, the Dire gets a scan out here on Monkeys, but one thing I gotta stress about scans is it needs to be actionable information. If you see red or green and then it doesn't really change what you're gonna do next anyways, then it doesn't really matter to actually use that. And in this case, they catch the Centaur and it's like, okay, well, let's keep on doing the same thing. Let's chill out in Dire jungle and have PPD jump bottom. Like, he gets Blink Dagger out of it. That will allow him to get better War Stomps off, better Splitters off. We'll see if it really makes a difference.
Yeah, Cole have overall not really changed much from their current positioning besides just pushing the lanes back a bit. And you can kind of say the same from WanteD here. This continues to be a bit of a tense moment here for both sides as they will continue their fight on forward here. Up to this point, Moo had been kind of at the top of the net worth, but for the first time in a while, Jesse kind of takes over this point. And it looks like he's going to be going for the BKB next. So it could be something WanteD want to wait for before they try to get up into some more fisticuffs. Having that extra defensive tool would be very, very handy. And for QO here, I guess he's going to just go right for the Mjolnir. He has a Maelstrom, and there's already another Mjolnir on the team.
Looks like Manta should be fine.
Oh yeah, he's got the Yasha too.
So could be building that up. It breaks the blind and just allows you to kind of keep fighting. You know you're going to get blinded a lot as this Tinker picks up his Aghanim's Scepter already has the Ether Lens. So it's probably a good tool to just keep hitting and not having to spin every time that a spell goes out against you.
So with the last fight that had, was it just more of an element of surprise from WanteD and CompLexity not just being in an ideal positioning kind of a thing?
Yeah, CompLexity definitely weren't ready for that fight, but more importantly, the outplay aspect of the Batrider and the Rubik really controlling the enemy's positioning and making it so that the Lone Druid with his Mjolnir could just go to work. End of the day, you really can't hope for that to happen a lot of times, especially against Stampede, which allows you to reposition as you will. I really think that was kind of a 1 in a million opportunity.
All right, here we are back at the Roche Pit once again, my friends. WanteD TP towards their shrine and hang on one side of the river. Man, who is going to make that initial call here? It is not going to be easy. Boris could jump in and go for a lasso. Then you have your Stampedes and your counterplays from Cole, vice versa.
Now, it is worth noting that Melon's gem of True Sight went over to Boris after that mid-exchange, so that does give them the advantage, especially during the daytime, fire flying around, keeping an eye on all the wards. This is what is really limiting the intel of CompLexity and why they have to keep on sending their dominated creeps into the pit.
Look at this. They are going to go all the way up and around to try to hit WanteD from behind here, and it may actually work.
Nope. Hey.
Oh, hey, Wave. How's it going here, monkeys? Unfortunately, sees himself in the middle of the wave and wants to begin to head that way. Boris takes to the skies here, and CompLexity quickly trying to make themselves out of what could be a pretty precarious situation. Yeah. Looks like they found themselves at least back towards the high ground area.
Yeah, they know that the creep wave is pressuring bottom, but it's not doing too much damage to tier 3 itself. It's more lost income. But yeah, WanteD really trying to be ready for a fight, because if this Roche goes down, their hopes of winning this game probably go down with it. So right now, at least WanteD are keeping postured around the pit. They still have more information than CompLexity do about the next fight, but I would still argue that CompLexity is much stronger.
Now here we are right back in the same position once we started in. WanteD hurdled around their shrine, just peeking in at the Roche Pit. This creep is hanging on the high ground too, even for a bit of vision. I'm not sure what that's about, but Zefric will take care of it. It's just such a fragile period right now. They'll send out the cores. It's like, well, we can't sit around and do nothing for like 3 minutes. Someone has to go farm. But people be here too, just in case that team goes into the pit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where, I mean, once you have BOT plays and you can jump to the Spear Bear, you can really enable more spread strategies. But right now, they're really worried about getting picked off. They're really worried about the Roche being taken without them knowing about it. They're sending Cardi in now for it. And, you know, Moo's doing his thing. It's it's not a bad steal for Rubik.
Uh-oh. Over here, crossing paths here. Chessie pops his BKB as he scopes
Nice
out Zefric. Is going to be able to take him down. Then the falls there from Boris. Gets the nab pullback from Monkeys, who tries to stampede up over the cliff, but not going to be able to make it out. Chessie gets the double and WanteD beeline.
Here comes the march.
Roche Pit. But yeah, just like last time, Cancel begins to go to work, dishing out those marches, preventing WanteD from comfortably moving inside the pit and getting it done. QO very low on life. Moo on the outside able to get the quick snipe and take down to Boris. There the laser zapping through the team of WanteD. They're going to be blinded a bit for this one, and I don't think they can comfortably move into the pit.
No, it's actually so difficult for them to take this. I mean, it was an amazing pick on the Centaur. That is a really hard hero to bring down, but great lasso from Boris, and yet, because the Tinker and the Ursa are still alive, they actually don't get to take objectives off of it. This is really unfortunate for them. They're even going to lose the bear here. 300 gold going to cancel, and that is actually going to be Moo walking into the pit with 2 of his heroes just now respawning. Power of the Shrines, man.
Looks so nice for WanteD there at the start. leading things in with a couple of sweet
smoke.
picks, but the power of CompLexity is they're able to hold it, and now WanteD just rush right into the pit. They want to take a fight here and now, and they're focusing move. They lift him up, they pull him back, he pops out the ulti, and he looks to make a great escape. Cancel going to be able to get the quick zap and takedown of Jo on that one. QO thrown right up into the air here, tries to Blade Fury himself back to safety, but Monkeys is right on his ass, sets it up with the stun and the stampede forward, and they'll be able to take it apart. This Tombstone doesn't stand a chance. CompLexity say this Roche is theirs. Savage roar to bump him back, but the bear will fall. Chessie, your lone survivor, waddles his way, attempting to make it back to base, but cancels here now. Moves in, sets it up with the Yules. Z-Freak, line him up, not going to be able to knock it down. Nice little force there for Chessie as they'll make it back inside, but he will have a crazy story to tell his family how CompLexity came in, ripped him apart, and took the Roche.
Dude, Lone Druid doesn't have a family. What do you think? This guy is a hermit hiding out in the woods, has a bear to talk to day and night. You think he has a family to talk to?
He has a courier, I guess he could chat with, but finally Peter back now, but he'll be back to bad news. CompLexity hold the new higher anarchy here with an Aegis in hand. They're moving inside, a tier 3 already down, and some Rax is already out for the grabbing. Move begins to go to work, and it's on WanteD to try to defend.
Yeah, obviously just really great play from Cancel and Monkeys in terms of putting out really good damage and getting in aggressively. Moo's Aghanims actually paid out really well there, as he probably would have gone down without being able to ulti during the stun. And now he has Aegis. Now he really isn't afraid of anything, but you know, he's keeping his distance, keeping the Earnest Shadows flowing to heal himself back up.
My God, this March of Machines is just ridiculous right there, forcing obviously a lot of the weaker supports to not comfortably be able to move up, but hey, no serious base damage yet here for Cole. Death timer's a little small right now on the side of WanteD, and without any forced buybacks, this isn't too shabby for WanteD at this point. So they will head back out on their journey and on their road. Cole, though, I imagine, will be looking to get the most out of this Aegis while they have it here. It looks like Moo has recently picked up the Vanguard en route to getting the Abyssal.
So this
and mech now complete for Swindle, too.
Yeah, he really likes to go for these kind of sustainable items, either going for Pipe of Insight when it's appropriate, now going for Glimmer Mech, just allowing his team to stay in the fight. I mean, if you combine that with the effective HP you're looking at for the Stampede, it's actually really hard to bring down anybody for the side of CompLexity. So it really allows heroes like Earth Spirit and Ursa to get in the enemy's face. It's just overall a really, really nice pickup, even at 36 minutes. Some people will be like, oh, after 30 minutes, mech is useless, but at least the armor, if not the 250 HP boost, could be the difference maker.
Jump and snag on Swindle, casually moving out front, will go down.
Boy.
Monkeys jumps in, gets a nice 3-man stun, but not there in time to get the save of Swindle. Chessie moving forward, tries to get the snipe onto Z-Freak. They turn back, and they'll get the finish onto Monkeys, who's just trying to save his captain there. WanteD able to kind of rush CompLexity out from their home, and they will hold once again before CompLexity can even really get a true push together. This is more time stalled for the Aegis, too.
Yeah, Stampede does a lot, but not enough to sort of keep you alive against 5 heroes here. And Gem of True Sight, nice, valuable pickup right back the other way. Batrider, again, needs to really make the most of this while he can. A couple of Radiant Observer wards specifically around the Roche pit for the next one need to be taken care of. But other than that, WanteD, again, spreading the map, creating more pressure bottom lane is what they love to do and what they'll continue to do. And we're actually seeing the light for WanteD. I mean, QO, while he is still barely ahead of Z-Freak, he still comparatively has a really good set of items to work with here. The Manta, the Maelstrom, Dominator, and anything else he picks up next will allow him to really put out more in the fights because this hero scales extremely well with his crit and low BAT. So I think that in this position, QO's feeling more confident. He's feeling better about himself. Chessie, he has burned a couple BKB charges down to 7 now as far as the duration, but you know that's what they needed to do to win these fights, and now in this position, he's getting stronger than ever.
We'll have to see for CompLexity's late game, as, you know, right up there, we still have Cancel, we still have Moo, just behind Chessie here. And for Cancel, he's since picked up what looks like a Shiva's. He's pretty much at critical mass, looking to only finish out what looks like a Sheep Stick. I suppose he could use to replace maybe even Aether Lens. You have a talent coming in that gives him the extra range.
Yeah, I suppose you could definitely do that. You could also look at a Dagon 5. I think that's fine. It looks like he has the Sheep Stick on Quick Buy, though, and that is going to be the better way of really limiting the Lone Druid's potential as that BKB goes down to 5 seconds. So, another tool of initiation, as well as just control in the middle of the fight. If you are using and sheeping 2 different targets simultaneously throughout the fight, you're you're in a pretty good spot. You turn that fight into a 4v3 essentially.
All right, last time Swindle was punished being far from his team here in the top lane. This time they're going to go right for where they were caught before, anticipating WanteD could be waiting up in that corner. They quickly look to spot it out, not looking to get surprised. WanteD will have to look elsewhere for their opportunity to really catch CompLexity off guard. Cole, though, very hesitant. Lots of respect, of course, to WanteD and their defensive game here. Even though they hold a pretty heavy-handed net worth advantage, this has always been a troubling point for CompLexity, the closeout.
Yep, just having to close it out at this point. No Rax advantage right now. They really just need to find that pick off. If they like find Boris out in the middle of nowhere, it'll put them in a really good position. It's kind of hard against Lone Druid with his short respawn time, and this guy's death time is only 36 seconds, so not going to be the easiest to pick him off and then take an objective off of it. And of course, they just now lost the Aegis. So while that does free us up a slot for Moo, it also means they don't have that tool at their disposal. Critical mass is a good way to put it, because you really don't have much more progression beyond the sheepstick. It's really strong, but you know, you're disabling 2 enemies and you're keeping them disabled, keeping them locked down, but you need more damage coming in from Moo, and he's at this point where he's got a lot of great tools. The Aghanim's going to have the BKB and Abyssal, a lot of great survivability tools, but then you're also going to be Silver Edged by this Lone Druid. If Lone Druid, Chessie just pops Silver Edge on the Ursa, you're losing a huge percentage of your damage just outright from the reduction, and then you're muted from Furious Swipes, and you don't get that value either.
Bear in the lane, going to get jumped there from Monkeys, and then taken down.
Oh, Chessie popped his BKB for nothing, though, and now...
This is not good, but WanteD still want to make something out of it here. They lead in with a lasso pullback for Monkeys. They hit him up with a Glimmer to try to help him out. Now Zefric rolls in, pops out the Magnetize. They're all into the Tombstone, which will quickly be taken apart. Chessie, though, continues to unravel onto everyone of CompLexity. Swindles is going to be next to go down. Moo jumps in, looks to focus and take apart Chessie, stuns him down and takes him out. Now it's Boris and Q on the run from the Bear. Cancel tries to help, but he's a bit short on the mana, and he's just getting blocked by Moo a bit, trying to casually run into him, but I don't think they'll be able to make the chase here. As we check the fight recap, it's a 3-for-2 trade in favor of WanteD.
Yeah, very heavy fight, a lot going on in it. Everybody kind of just put into a big cluster there, but at the same time, yeah, the Ursa has to back off halfway through it. Cancel's limited on his mana pool right now. So, yeah, they can only get so much done throughout the entire process here, and in the end, WanteD are okay with that exchange. I mean, the Bear's death does not really matter too much at this current stage in the game. It's only really a tool to continue to keep the Ursa at arm's length. So, overall, again, the BKB has to be used, but it's down to 6 seconds, 5 seconds, same difference for most heroes, and now you're getting more and more farm on QO. If he gets this AC up, or sorry, he's going for the Mjolnir now.
Chessie rolling in, trying to take the Moo. Boris is there to follow up. Goes the lasso, Moo pops the ulti, and this guy keeps on running to make it away. Cancel's there to help, and he makes it out with his life, but WanteD let him know that if he oversteps, he will not be welcome.
Yeah, at least he has that lasso, or the Aghanim Scepter to deal with the lasso. If a Hex or a Silence is against him, he doesn't have that tool. He doesn't have that option, but right now that's not really in the cards for anybody on WanteD. So Ursa's still feeling pretty invincible right now, and even going BKB to enhance that further. Yeah, I feel like still a lot is on Chessie. Like, he's putting out a lot of damage in these fights, but you know, you can only do so much. Your Undying will help once he gets level 18. He'll have a little bit more Flesh Golem damage, but he has to survive for all that too. So, yeah, I think that it's really QO that has to step up his game. Chessie can't bear the entire weight of this team if they're going to be able to make it through to the end game, especially when there's a Hex on the field, and again, his BKB has waned so significantly.
Yeah, you can feel for CompLexity, like, a lot more focus is also being put on Moo to succeed here. Yeah, top lane, it looks like a Hex, and it looks like a shot down of Boris pushing out that top lane. It's going to be CompLexity able to get the catch.
Did not know about the Hex. That's the unveiling right there, as it was just now picked up by the Tinker, and that's a tool that can easily enable a kill, even no matter how many blinks or forces you have from the Batrider.
Just going to get into talking about, like, if we were going to be a bit concerned here for CompLexity support staff. They did so much to kind of allow CompLexity to be in the position they are now, but now as we get into the later game, you know, it's not like Zefric's able to kind of start things off. He gets in with a stun, let's say, but, you know, he's the one to wait back now, gets off critical Solar Crest, Glimmer saves, maybe going to be saving it for an Ag so you can get that grip save too. And then for Swindle, like, he's just a mech kind of right now. Mech and Glimmer, are they able to still kind of achieve what they want to do in these fights, or do they feel like they're a bit more fragile than they used to be?
I mean, they've certainly tapered off. Leshrac, all he does in the late game is really drop that stun. You see, he hasn't even bothered ranking his Pulse Nova. He's not really there for damage. He's there for control, and he's there to try to keep his allies alive through Glimmer and through Mech. I mean, when push comes to shove, he can do a little bit here and there, but he's really not focused on the damage component. But that being said, while they are limited in their potential, you always got to be looking towards the late game of the Earth Spirit, where he's offering more control options with the Aghanim Scepter. You obviously are going to be seeing him still bringing in some good stuns and silences. Silences is something they lack on both teams, so it's pretty good. And if they just hit the Tombstone, I mean, that's not bad. Like, that still allows your heroes to stay on target.
Looks like Roche is up and Cole go right in for it. WanteD have been waiting inside their home, so it looks like they're not going to be able to make it out in time, which is quite a dramatic change in the last Roche fight, where it was taking forever, it felt like, for either team to kind of make the commitment because they had watch on each other quite a bit. So CompLexity really taking more of the advantage of the map right now. Will easily be able to take it. Cheese is going to go to Monkeys. And now we look to WanteD side to see what they're going to be able to do to defend this one.
Yeah, they do have the MKB now on the Lone Druid, so Laser won't affect him so drastically, but if you're out of BKB, you're probably getting hexed anyways. So I really don't know if this is going to enable more than just allowing him to punch through the Solar Crest or obviously kill off a disabled Tinker. That being said, I'm really looking forward to a Solar Crest on the side of WanteD. Anybody that can pick that up would be a huge benefit, because the one weakness of Tinker at this stage in the game, this critical mass, is that he's all single target. You get one solar, you get one, I'm actually drawing a blank here. What is that item called?
Medallion? Oh no, sorry.
The Echo Shell, the Lotus Orb.
Oh, Lotus Orb.
I think I said it like 30 seconds ago and somehow forgot it in that 30 seconds. But yeah, if you get a Lotus Orb, you'll dispel hexes and you'll make it so that they can't be rehexed, or the Tinker will in fact disable himself.
That wouldn't be a bad pickup at all. Something that maybe you could expect Jo to maybe try to creep himself into. He's got 1,900 gold, but obviously this is buyback time. They've got to be pocketing quite a bit of savings here. Map drawn out now. Cole could be beginning to congregate up here towards
oh no,
where
again,
they are.
The bear is going down. That is just a waste at this point. Maybe you don't, like, I don't know, you keep it in base or something, because it's such easy pickings. It's such a slow animal at this point.
Double damage.
Duo still pushing top lane here, but Cole know that with the bear down, maybe they can go and make their final strike here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most impactful thing. It's just a nice way of allowing him to kite further. But I mean, maybe you get this, you drop up a Savage Roar Bomb on top of it. Like,
yeah,
it's a nice tool to have for sure.
WanteD smoke up, anticipating maybe the approach from CompLexity. Now they head out. They draw that they're going to run on through here. Closest target is Swindle, but they can't quite get close enough yet.
Now, one thing that I'm looking forward to if this game stretches out just a little bit longer is Centaur Warrunner hitting 25. If he gets that return aura and he has a heart or two to work with, that thing could be absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah. We'll have to see here. WanteD to the skies. There's Swindle. Do they go for him? It looks like they will. Should be a quick pickoff. I don't think Cole are going to do anything about that. They'll just have to lose their captain. And a gem will be down. And that will be the ward too. Okay. WanteD strike outside of the front door, and will possibly slow the roll of CompLexity here a bit. Do you think that they should wait for Swindles? They got about a minute or so.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to force the issue on anything with him down, but I really don't think that CompLexity are actually taking anything inside the Dire base without actually finding a pickoff first. Like, it's been, I think, it was 22 minutes in the game they were hitting that range racks up top. They haven't poked at it since. And in general, they have to pick off not just one or two heroes, but like 3 or 4 at least if they're going to be able to break through the base, because the Lone Druid respawns quickly, and they can do a lot just with a little. Just with a few heroes alive, I feel like WanteD are still in a good position on the high ground. So it really comes down to CompLexity waiting for WanteD to make a mistake, and in the meantime, just trying to generate more income and gain a greater advantage.
Invisibility.
Cole will take their farm. How about critical mass for someone like Moo here? It looks like slated up, he's got an AC, but he is just juggling a ridiculous amount of items.
Yeah.
An Aegis that's going to be probably expiring soon here.
He's actually changed his mind like 3 times. He had BKB, Diffusal Blade, and Assault Cuirass all highlighted at one point in this same item interval, where he hasn't picked up anything since. So finally settles on the Assault Cuirass. It's going to be even better for that return aura once we get there. But, you know, of course, the bigger thing is that it's just a lot of physical damage coming in from him and even more attack speed. The Helm of the Dominator seems to be kind of like that temporary item. I guess you can still backpack it for the creep to hang around.
Yeah.
But it's really, you get 1 creep max, and yeah, it's barely worth keeping.
All right, all the ducks starting to come in a row here for CompLexity in hopes of closing things out after what was a huge advantage here. They continue to plateau out at about a 20K net worth advantage. The XP, up there as well, continues to stay the same. WanteD get more options to kind of have more damage in the later game. Level 25 Lone Druid continues to stalk in hopes of catching a cancel Tinker, split pushing the lane, but can't find his target this time.
Mjolnir on the bear just continues to do that split push play. It's not the same level of freedom as the Radiance gives you, but it's worked out pretty well so far. The bear's been picked off a few times, but free farm for Chessie. He's, I guess, just going to go for Moonshard next. BOTs and Moonshard really the only major items at this moment, and Heart number 1 up for Centaur. It feels like a big part of CompLexity's late game plan revolves actually around this Centaur hitting 25. So we'll see if the game doesn't close out before then Monkeys is going to be the big player on the field.
It's a shame. Z-Freak got that early Midas, and he's further along than Monkeys is towards that level 5. But soon 25s will be really coming around here. Even Swindle at 22, 25.
I think they'll actually give the tome to the Centaur, though. It's much more valuable than the Edict explosions or the slow. I mean, the slow's not bad, but it's just you're not really needing it in this situation.
Yeah. Cole now hanging up towards WanteD. Boris looking for maybe an opening. He's looking to make chase. He forces all the way in for this. Gets the lasso pullback. It's for Monkeys here. Moo looks to come inside. They bump him back with a flame break. They go for the tombstone and immediately take it out. You'll be there for Boris. They see Jo trying to run out. Chessie begins to go in on Moo, right-clicking him apart and tries to kite him and run back. Moo's going to get the glimmer so he can hope to get a bit closer while QO gets chunked down from the rest of CompLexity. Now Chessie could find himself surrounded. They're going to hit him up with a stun. Cancels there too, and he's going to get dropped out. Buyback already issued out from QO on this one. Jo can't get to make it out on the TP. They're going to catch him with the Yules, and he will be taken down. This could be the fight CompLexity had been waiting for. A buyback may be necessary from Chessie.
Yeah, I think so.
And there it is. What could be the final hurrah for WanteD? Will CompLexity keep moving in, or will we be satisfied with all these buybacks now? They're going to get the racks down, and it looks like they're going to stay. They're going to look to go for the closure now. Moving in, Z-Freak not going to get the biggest connection with the Boulder Smash. Finds himself stunned and trapped inside. He will get quickly punished here. There's going to be the Abyssal. Jumping from Monkeys. Is not going to get the save, but Moo looks to go in and look to rip apart. Take down UO. They're going to get it. He's out of this game without a buyback now. It's all on
Chessie's
Chessie.
hex. Chessie's done!
And that's it. It was all on Chessie to try to pull it out there at the end, but Cancel puts in the work with the hex and the lasers, and CompLexity have managed to 2-0 WanteD on this day. It's going to be Swindles over PPD.
Yeah, insanely good showing from CompLexity, really just rounding out their rosters really well. Again, I said it earlier, but in Game 1, it really felt like the draft gave them the early advantage. In Game 2, it was the execution that they brought to the table. Just really able to find a number of really clutch kills early on. Gave them a ton of momentum that heroes like Juggernaut and Lone Druid don't find for themselves. They are ones that have to really fight for it, and it seems like CompLexity just have the better handle on it. So CompLexity taking 2 games, 2-0 in this series, and they're going to be going off to the playoffs, my friend.
That's crazy. I mean, people would have looked at these 2 groups, and they would have said that this is the tougher group. CompLexity, DC, WanteD, and then... Freedom?
Yes.
And now we suddenly, based on the results, it's CompLexity looked like the best team in this group. I mean, a 2-0 against WanteD yesterday, or whenever they faced, Freedom, they got the 2-0 there, so now they're up at the top. WanteD had the 2-1 against DC, and now find themselves 2-0'd against CompLexity. So that will mean, what, WanteD are going to be facing off against Freedom, or DC again?
So WanteD are going to be facing off against the winner of DC and Freedom, which will be coming up next.
Not next.
Not next.
No,
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Today
Yes.
it's all
We're
about the
jumping to
winners.
group. Yeah, we're
it's
jumping
all
over to
about the
Group B now.
We're going to hop over to Group B next. There is going to be a little bit of a break, you guys. It's 3:06 local time, and the match begins at 4. So expect about a 50-minute, that's 50-minute intermission. So take the time to relax, check out some of the other Dota, get in a game of Dark Moon, whatever you got to do. But get back here because the next match is just as hype. It's the Group B winners. It's Team NP going against Team Onyx. Should be an awesome one. I'm Kyle Guy. I'm joined again by Blaze here in-house, and we'll be back with more coverage of the DAC American Qualifier.